Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Tennessee Titans 10-year rebuild here on Madden 23. And we have finally arrived. It is year number 10, episode number 10. We've done 9 years of rebuilding this Titan squad. We've won 2 championships in this 9 years span with 2 different starting quarterbacks. But now it all comes down to this. Luckily, we don't have the pressure of having to go all in and win a championship in the final season like we did with the Arizona Cardinals and like we might have to do with the New England Patriots over in Madden 24. We've already got that out of the way. We've already won 2 championships, let alone 1. So we can just sit back and relax and hopefully win a 3rd. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but this team is certainly good enough to do that. We've got our big boy Josh Sellers. He's a 93 overall. We've got Tyler Algier. We've got 3 really good receivers that I trust. Excuse me. Oh, I didn't mean to cough right in the mic. I apologize for that. Oh, went down the wrong pipe. Anyway, we've got an amazing offensive line that I believe is maybe the best offensive line in the NFL. It has to be. We got Kyle Pitts as the tight end. And then on defense, we've got studs all across the board. We've got amazing corners. We've got an amazing defensive line. We've got great linebackers. We've got 2 really good safeties. I mean, I don't really see a way that this team can lose. I really don't understand it. So our goal for this year is obviously win the Super Bowl because it's year number 10. What else are we going to do? I don't see a way that we don't win the Super Bowl this year, but I also said that last season and we didn't win the Super Bowl. So I don't really understand how we're not doing the things that we're doing. We're running Tampa Bay's playbook for the final season. I can't remember if we were running it last year or not, but we are running it for this year. It's still very overpowered in Madden 23, so hopefully Joshua Sellers just has a crazy season and we just dominate. I mean, you take a look at our specs. You take a look at our splits. 96 offense, 92 defense, 94 overall. We are by far the best team in the NFL. It has to be. So if we don't win a championship, then I don't understand. Madden simulation is just bad, which we already know it is. But we have to win a championship. It just has to happen. So I'm going to simulate to the midseason mark. Hopefully we are absolutely dominating, undefeated, or maybe 1 loss, whatever it is, but we have to have a really, really good start so that we can absolutely dominate the rest. I will see you guys at the midseason mark with our results. They better be good. Okay, so a little bit of frustrating news. We sit at 4-3 on the year, halfway through, and for some reason, we're not playing well. I mean, we're leading the division, but this division this year is not amazing, so that's not like something to hold your hat on too great. Why? Tell me what on this roster would lend you to have a 4-3 team halfway through the year. This is maybe the best overall team I've put together in any of these 10-year rebuilds. Now, that might just be some recency bias, but it has to be up there, if not the best. And remember, this is the final season, so we can go all in on a player to help us out if we absolutely need to. And it might be a middle linebacker. Like, I can trade all my picks. I don't need any draft picks because we're not going into the offseason. So I can trade everything that I have for a middle linebacker, since the middle linebacker seems to be our most needed position. We could go with somebody here. Like, who can we get? There's Quay Walker. Did we have Quay Walker in this team? I think we did, right? Or was that a different one? I don't remember if Quay Walker was on this team. He might have been. That sounds about right. I know we had Quay Walker recently, and we had to get rid of him. I think it probably was on this. Let's try to trade for Nick Bolton. I know that we're not going to have, obviously, the cap space to do this, but if I can give up somebody that's not going to cost a whole lot, like, who do we not need that's making a ton of money? Who's not going to affect the team overall that's making a ton of money. I don't think that we have anybody that fits that bill. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go budget. And that's not going to really happen. Or that's not really going to matter too much. Because, I mean, we have a freaking 80 overall already. So if we go any more budget, we're just going to might as well stay with what we have. So who can we get? Who can we get to help this team out in the long run? That's not going to break. This guy's really the only guy that doesn't absolutely break the bank. We'd have to give up Kool-Aid McKinstry or Deontay Grove straight up. Well, you see, I don't want to do that because I don't have the offensive line depth to be able to make that a good thing. I'd be giving up my best guard for nothing. So how about I just give you a draft pick and we forget about cap space? Is that a thing? We can't just you can't just forget about cap space for 1 second. They need a D tackle. Do I have a D tackle making a ton of money? I have Mac Hadley, but I like Mac Hadley, and he's not making enough money. Brian Driver, everybody's making. I want to upgrade Brandon Nix, but I don't have the cap room to be able to do that, and I'm not going to trade any of my corners because we need our corners, obviously. But I just don't have. I don't think I can do anything. I don't have any room. I'm paying everybody too much money. And I don't have, this isn't Madden 24 where you have all the drafts, all the things, the slots, the different slots. I can't trade a bunch of players and picks. I think, unfortunately, we're just going to have to ride it out 4-3 and hope that we have a really, really good second half of the season. I really hope that we have a really good second half of the season. Because if not, it's going to be kind of a annoying and frustrating way to end the 10 years. With as good of a team as we have, but we're going to assimilate to the end of the season, to the postseason, and hope for the best, I guess. I'll see you guys there. Okay, so good news, I guess. We won the division, made the playoffs. Unfortunately, we went 11-6 and are in the wild card. Why? That's it. Why? Why did we play so bad? I literally don't understand it. Joshua Sellers did not play bad. He had a little bit too many interceptions at 12. I'd like to see those in the single digits, but 41 touchdowns, 5,400 yards, that's a very good season. It had to have been our defense that just allowed too many points. That had to have been the case. I mean, Tyler Algier had 17 touchdowns. So we weren't lacking offensive production. But our defense must have just been allowing a lot of touchdowns. Marvin Harrison had 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns. Burks had 14 and 11 touchdowns. Pitts had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Crowder had 9, 15, and 6. So, like, all of our receivers are getting a ton of touches, a ton of touchdowns, and a ton of yards. But our defense had to have been a problem. It had to have been. 143 tackles for Brandon Nix. I guess he heard me, wanting to try to upgrade from him. 10 tackles for loss. 95 tackles for Devin Henderson. AJ Shirley had 91. Tyree Wilson had 84. Tackle for loss leader was Tyree Wilson with 21, 18 for Mac Hadley. Mac Hadley's been a stud ever since we drafted him. 16 tackles for losses for Jalen Carter, 10 for Nix, 17 sacks for Carter, 14.5 for Tyree Wilson. So really good numbers from Carter and Wilson, which is to be expected. And then Mac Hadley coming up with 8.5. Gary had 7. I have a really good defensive line. That might be my best defensive line that I've ever built. Jamarian Byrd had 3 picks. Bullocks had 2. So did Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's about it. It's playoff time now. I don't know what to do. Like, why? Not what to do, but I don't know why we suck. Why do we suck so bad? The Chiefs were the #1 seed. They finished... Oh, I can't even see the record. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're taking on the Jaguars. I guess let's go win the game. Here in the wild card playoffs at home in Nashville, we're down 7-0. We get a field goal. We're down 14-3. If this is how we go out, it's going to be fitting. 14-10. Come on, boys. Figure it out. Figure it the F out. Come on. It's back and forth. It is back and forth. The Jaguars score again. We get up to the end. Oh, we're done. We got cooked. We just lost in the wild card round of the playoffs in year number 10. Why are we so bad? I don't understand Madden Simulation, man. This game sucks. It is so bad. And that's pass interference. Thank you. Thank you for calling it, actually. Madden 23 Simulation is the worst thing that has ever existed in this world. Like, how can you tell me that this Jaguars team is theoretically and physically better than my team on a given day? That's just me not paying attention to the sack. You know what? I don't even want to be in this. I don't want to be in this anymore. I want to simulate out of this because we are going to lose. So, how does an offense that is 96 overall, 96 overall, I'm not the one who said that. The game told me that they are 96 overall. So how does a 96 overall offense put up 17 points on a bad Jaguars team? They have an 80, it's 97 on the offense. And they have an 83 defense. And you're telling me with a straight face that the Jaguars came into whatever place we're at, Nissan Stadium in Nashville? You're telling me they came in with all those bridesmaids and the cowboy boots and the white dresses? They came in with them and they beat us? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm so glad that I'm done with Madden 23 now, because this game sucks so bad. And the Jaguars, of course, the Jaguars are in the freaking Super Bowl, man. That is just the most fitting thing I've ever seen in my life. They get blown out by the Giants 33-10. So there it is, boys. That is the end of the final 10-year rebuild and the final thing that we will do on Madden 23. Madden 23 will get deleted after this episode goes live. Will Levis wins regular season MVP. We don't get any awards, but let's go through a brief history of the 10 years. So in year number 1, the Indianapolis Colts took on the Packers in the championship. The Colts won. Jalen Hurts gets MVP. Year number 2, the Browns took on the Panthers and won. Myles Garrett gets Super Bowl MVP. Lamar Jackson gets regular season MVP. Oh, we also had Dallas Turner get Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So that's awesome. Then in year number 3, Chiefs beat the Cardinals. Joe Burrow wins the regular season MVP. Marvin Harrison Jr., who we got from the Seahawks, if you remember, he won Offensive Player of the Year. I think this year, 2024, this offseason we traded for Marvin Harrison. I'm pretty sure that's when that happened, because I think we got him coming off of his Offensive Player of the Year season. Then we get our first championship in year number 4 with Will Levis at the quarterback spot. So that's awesome. You love to see that. Then we've got year number 5, Brock Purdy and the Niners get a championship. Then we go to 2027, Joshua Sellers, Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year for us. Bengals beat the Panthers. The Rams beat the Colts. We don't have any awards there. But then we get back. It's Joshua Sellers' time, because he won MVP and a championship. We took on the Panthers and beat them. So that's 2 championships, baby. Then the Packers beat the Dolphins with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, which was crazy. And then we got this year, where the Giants beat the Jaguars. So that's the 10-year history of this series. If I had to say, one of my favorite quarterbacks that we've had is Joshua Sellers in the entirety of all these rebuilds and stuff. I did like the quarterback that we had in the Rams rebuild. I forget what his name was, but I did like him. I thought he was pretty decent. But in the seasons that we drafted Joshua Sellers, homegrown talent, 25,000 yards, 186 touchdowns, 53 picks. That's very good numbers. We had Derrick Henry for a good amount of time, but then he obviously started to regress and retire, so we had to move on from that, and we brought in Tyler Algier, and he actually was really, really good for us, really solid. Treylon Burks was a normal development player when we started this rebuild, and Treylon Burks became the best player maybe in this 10 years. Maybe on offense, I should say. Because I think he went from, did he go from normal to superstar immediately? Or was it normal to star to superstar? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he went from normal straight to superstar, and then we realized that we had something with him. Or maybe I'm thinking of something. I do too many of these things at the same time, and I get a lot of stuff mixed up. He might have just went from normal to star to superstar. And then to X Factor. That might have been his progression, but I can't remember. Marvin Harrison played well. We signed. Did we trade for Kyle Pitts? I think we traded for Kyle Pitts, and then we just locked him up forever so he can never leave. But Treylon Burks, that was one of my main goals too. I wanted to make Treylon Burks a big time player, and that's exactly what happened. We signed Rashawn Gary, which is rare for my rebuilds. I never am able to sign Rashawn Gary. He always picks somewhere else, but he finally picked me, and he actually balled out. We drafted Kool-Aid. No, we didn't draft. We traded for Kool-Aid McKinstry. I thought we drafted him, but we didn't. Jalen Carter, we drafted? I don't know. Did we draft Jalen Carter in the first offseason? We might have. I don't remember. I don't remember how he got here. I guess I could take a look at his player card and find out. How did you get here? Were you here the entire time? No, he got drafted by the Cardinals, and then we made a trade for him. That's okay. So he was basically here for 9 seasons. He was here for 9 seasons. Basically the entire time. But a lot of these guys we drafted, we did draft Tyree Wilson. I do remember that. I do remember drafting Tyree Wilson. He was really, really good. Mac Hadley might be one of my favorite auto-generated guys that I've ever drafted. He was such a stud. Brian Driver ended up, he almost became a bust, but then he started to develop really well once we gave him the time to. Sack leaders, Rashawn Gary obviously had a head start because he's a real player, but I mean, Jalen Carter in 10 seasons put up 100.5 sacks. That's insane production for Jalen Carter. Tyree Wilson had 74.5. Mac Hadley had 56.5. I mean, Mac Hadley is just a stud. AJ Shirley as well, just an absolute stud. Did we draft AJ Shirley? I don't remember drafting him. He might, no. He was in LA for a while, and then we got him for 3 seasons. Okay, I didn't think that he's been here for that long. Who's the interception leader? Is it going to be a real life person? No, it's McKinstry with 15 in his seasons here. That's crazy. 10 for Bullard. Okay, those are some of the numbers for the boys. But this has definitely been one of my more successful ones, obviously, because I've never won more than 2 championships in a 10-year rebuild. And I've done a few of them. And I still have that 100% record. Although it's on the brink of not being 100% with the Patriots. You got to keep watching the next couple episodes of the Patriots because we still have yet to win 1 championship in New England. And I cannot have my 100% completion record fall away with my favorite team. So we got to go all in. We got to go balls deep on trying to win at least 1 championship. Obviously, I want to win more than that, but we got to win at least 1 with the Patriots. But this team, man, one of my more favorite teams I've built, maybe the best team on paper that I've built in the entirety of this 10 years. I mean, definitely one of my favorite quarterbacks that I've ever drafted, Joshua Sellers. What a freaking stud this man was. MVP, Super Bowl champion. He's got great accuracies. And I remember debating whether or not to even draft him because there was another quarterback in his draft class that on paper looked better than him, but I think he got taken before us. And we had to go for Sellers. I can't remember. I had to watch that video, but you guys know I have bad memory. But we've had some really good players come through these doors, and this is your final offense and final defense. This is, it's got to be. Actually, is it Brandon Nix or Brian? I think it's Brandon Nix. He went up to superstar, so if we were to go another year, he'd have really good development. But this has got to be by far my best defense that I've ever built. Absolutely. I mean, we've got studs all across the board. We got 90 pluses. We got 85 pluses. We got 88 pluses. We got studs everywhere. So it's got to be my best team put together. My best defense, at least. And we finished the 10 years with 2 championships. A little bit disappointing. We probably could have came away with 3, if not 4, if simulation would have went our way. But hey, that's the way they go. Madden simulation sucks. Madden 23 sucks. I'm glad to never play this game again, probably. Unless I go back and do like a quote-unquote retro rebuild. But I will probably never play this game again, and it'll get deleted pretty quickly. And yeah, that's going to do it for this 10 years. Obviously, if you're still loving the 10-year stuff, you can continue watching on Madden 24 with the Patriots. We only got a few years left on that. And then we're just strictly on franchise content, basically. I mean, we got the Superstar mode going too, but it's Red Dragons all the way, baby. If you enjoyed this 10-year rebuild and you enjoy my content, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more. Join the Juice Club. Subscribe to the channel as always. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.